In my first look video of the EufyMake E1 UV printer, it sparked some strong reactions. A lot of you loved the quality and detail I showed off, but some of you told me I actually talked you out of it just because of the ink cost of a few textured prints. And I get it, $23 for a single print sounds high until you actually break down what's going on. This machine is way more affordable than it might have seemed, so I'm setting the record straight. Because the ink cost, it's not what you think, especially if you are doing flat prints or planning for margins. I'll show you exactly how the ink cost changes with texture depth, what that means for your wallet, and how to plan smarter so you can actually decide if this printer fits your work. Let's start with a T-Rex print. I printed it in 3D texture mode at 5mm depth. That used 5.8mm of ink, which came out to be $2.49. Not bad for a raised touchable image with real visual pop. But here's the kicker. This same print, completely flat, would have only used 1 milliliter of ink, which is 43 cents. That's a whopping 480% difference in ink usage, not because the printer is wasteful, but because depth changes everything. You're building up actual layers of ink like a mini sculpture. So no, you're not burning ink every time you print unless you're intentionally maxing out the 3D texture. Even then, it's still reasonable if you're pricing your work right. Let's take another example, my textured religious artwork. This was a large format 12x16 multi-layered print at 0.6mm depth, and it used 54.87 milliliters of ink, or about $23.58 total. That's a premium piece, and it took me nearly 3 hours, and I knew it was going to be an ink-heavy job going in. But here's the key. The flat version of the same design, it would have been 9.5 milliliters of ink, or just about $4.07. So the texture added a lot to the cost, but it also added depth, emotion, and a wow factor. If you're selling premium pieces, you price accordingly. If you're doing bulk work, you print flat. Either way, you're in control. So what's the takeaway here, guys? If you're doing lots of textured prints, layered magnets, raised signage, 3D pieces, yeah, you'll want to factor in ink as part of your material cost. But if you are running flat prints, stickers, canvas art, tumblers, the cost per item is super manageable. The key is knowing when to go flat and when to go full texture. That gives you full control over your margins and your art. Once you understand that, it becomes a strategic decision, not a deal breaker. I hope you got that. So that's just the way my business brain goes with this type of creative art and what EufyMake has done here. So here are my final thoughts. If I made this printer sound like a deal breaker last time, maybe that's on me. The EufyMake E1, I am still impressed by it, guys. This thing has been so awesome. Texture quality is phenomenal. The flat prints are crisp, and the rotary is the best I have used. And again, I will echo, I've only used them on a laser before, but this thing is super awesome. And it's been practically maintenance-free so far. So if you're smart about how you print and you understand how the depth affects cost, this machine is way more affordable than most people realize, in my opinion. I've got the Kickstarter link below in the description if you are still considering it. Yes, buying through this link supports the channel, but more importantly, I want you to buy it knowing what you're getting into, not based on fear. Now, my full in-depth review is still coming soon. I'm still editing, and it has full project breakdowns and more. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss it. And thanks for watching and for calling me out. I want this channel to actually help and not just to hype or give wrong information. I'll talk to you soon.